compares. Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to tackle custom elements in Angular. Custom elements. Yeah. Alright, so custom elements. Okay, let's do this. First, we're going to that pilot web, and I think it's safer if we will just use um, a dev container, right? So dev container, then dev container here, container.json, and let's see if we have dev container setting we already prepared. Dev container, dev container. If not, we're just going to just copy and paste. Not using Dockerfile to server. Nothing else can. Alright, so just copy this and put this in our dev container, and let's open and dev container. The part of the DC singing ding 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 ding. Confusion never stops. To the world of my heart, trouble that can't be named. Or am I part of the disease? Do 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 do. Da, do 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 do. Do do do. Bam dum dum da 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 da. Confusion never stops. Trouble that can't be named. Or am I part of the disease? Confusion never stops. Trouble that can't be named. Am I part of the disease? Right, so while waiting for it to complete, let's just try to learn something different. Alright, so this is like a bonus round. Bonus round. How to change the photo effect in GIMP. Confusion never stops. is everything created by the game project. These tutorials are fully community written. Therefore, if you find any tutorial incomplete or if it contains errors or outdated information, the best thing is to contribute a fix. Moreover, we warmly welcome new tutorials. Confusion and never stop. Da, 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 da. Trouble that can't be named. And I'm a part of the disease. Confusion and never stop. Do, 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 do. Trouble that can't be named. And I'm a part of the disease. Right, so let's import this into GIMP. Right, so how do we like in nothing else compares, and nothing else compares. Like, how do you control? Right, so all right, maybe in ChatGPT. How do I control plus L or control plus M? What is the equivalent of control plus L of Photoshop to GIMP in Adobe Photoshop? Shortcuts Control M levels dialog and Control M opens the curve dialog. In GIMP it's colors levels and colors curve. Ah, okay. Colors level. Okay. Alright, so let's try. Let's duplicate this. How do we duplicate this? Create duplicate. Alright. Then we will, because we are very master in pin tool now, we're going to pin tool this. Okay, like that. And then control to close. Oops. Yeah, that one. And then control shift V. Yeah, shift V. And then how do we cut this? What is control J equivalent? What is control J of Photoshop after a pin tool selection equivalent to GIMP. In Photoshop, after making a selection with the pen tool, pressing Ctrl J creates a new layer via copy. It copies the data, create a path, convert a path to selection, Shift V, and then then Control Shift D, Control Shift J. Okay, Control Shift J. In Photoshop, there is Control J, so Control Shift J. Nope. Control J. Nope, nope, it did not. It didn't. Control Shift J. Control, make a path. Control Shift J. No, it did not. It did not. Control Shift J. Nope. Nope. Maybe it's like that. Just create a mask. And then here, so I believe because we've masked it, we can now go to edit on the colors, and then okay, here we can play with the levels, which is not taking effect because this is getting covered here. Well, how do we do this? Nope. Oh no, it's not. It's now begin. It has begun. Okay, so we're now going to create ng new pilot web component. Tool to do create a path, and we already did that path section. Then copy section to a new layer. Control C. Okay, just Control C. Control C. Then create a new layer. Control V. Okay, I think that works. Delete. Delete. Nothing else compare. Okay, so this one, if I change the color to the curve to like that, okay, that works. And then color level, okay, there you go. Okay, basic photo editing. Okay, so we got that already ready. So we go to our this one. We'll search for the moving files. Okay, so now we will follow what's the instructions in here. Okay, Angular elements are Angular components packaged as component blah blah blah, custom elements blah blah blah. Okay, using custom elements bootstraps themselves. So they start when they are added to the DOM and are destroyed when removed from the DOM. Once a custom element is added to the DOM for any page, it looks and behaves like any other HTML element and does not require any special knowledge of Angular terms of usage or usage conventions. To add the Angular element package to your workspace, you run this one. Okay, so you add that. How it works, the create custom element function converts a component into a class that can be registered with the browser as a custom element. After you register your configured class with the browser's custom element registry, use the new element just like a built-in HTML element and content that you add directly into the DOM. Ooh, no. This is not what we wanted. Why did you install that there? Yeah, that's not what we wanted. All right. So let us node modules. Then npm I npm ci. Hello world. Dun, 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 dun. Right, so for the text, to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. Don't know how lovely you are. I had to find you. Right, and then size, you can increase the size. You can move. Alright, so this is nice. Okay, so this is just what I usually do in Photoshop. So I think we can just, how do we transform this? Like scale, what is the scale? Or maybe we can just, nobody said it was easy. Okay, so the next is we're going to, yeah, install this. Oh, not there. I told you not to do that, right? It's just here. I had to find you. Right, so we installed Angular Elements, transforming components to custom elements. Uh, Previously, when you wanted to add a component to an application at runtime, you had to define dynamic components, and then you would add. We'd have to load it, attach it to an element in the DOM, and wire up all of the dependencies, change detections, and event handling. Using an Angular custom element makes the process simpler and more transparent by providing all the infrastructure and framework automatically. All you have to do is define the kind of event handling you want. Do, do you still have to include the component from compilation if you're not going to use it in your application? The following pop-up service example application defines a component that you can either load dynamically or convert to a custom element. Typings for custom elements. Generic DOM APIs such as document.createElement or document.querySelector return in an element type that is appropriate for the specific arguments. For example, calling document.createElement a returns an HTML anchored element, which TypeScript knows has an href element. Similarly, document.create element dev returns an HTML dev element, which TypeScript knows has no ref element. When called in unknown elements such as a custom element name, pop-up element, in our example, the methods return a generic type such as HTML element. Custom elements created in Angular extend ng element, which in turn extends HTML element. Additionally, these custom elements will have a property for each input of the corresponding component. For example, our pop-up element has a message property of type string. There are a few options if you want to correct types for your custom elements. Assume you create a MyDialog custom element based on the following component. The most straightforward way to get accurate typings is to cast the return value of the relevant DOM methods to the correct type. For that, use the ng element and with properties both. Limitation: care should be taken when destroying and then reattaching custom elements created with Angular elements due to issues with the disconnect callback. Cases where you may run into these issues are rendering a component in an ngIf or ngRepeat in Angular JS, manually detaching blah 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 blah.